My man. Brother Irv, what's going on, man? How are you, man?
Brother Jimmy, what's good? I'm great. I'm great. God is good.
That's the only way to be, man.
Absolutely. Bro.
Let's talk about it.
Yes, sir.
Yo, Irv, first things first.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for making me the better person today when it comes to my professional life and my professional growth. Without you, a lot of things would not have happened to me today. And the things that you've advocated for is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Through reading, writing, podcasting, listening, those audiobooks, everything we talked about is the reason why the show is doing what it's doing. So I want to give you that recognition today on Let's Talk About It, brother.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate that immensely. But you know, you are a man that has demonstrated and shown the community and the people, especially within the industry, like how loyal you are. You go above and beyond. You're always there for folks, and you've been there for me too. Like, I think learning is a two-way street. Thank you for telling me that I taught you, but you taught me a lot too, right? I think reflection is really important, and you've given me that perspective in terms of reflection. As I'm talking to you about different things, I'm also teaching myself. So it's reciprocity there.
Knowledge is key.
Absolutely.
So, Irv, we see the market changing. We hear the stories. We hear the excuses. We hear the wins.
Yep.
How are you having those conversations with those that are around you?
Well, real estate is cyclical, right? So real estate goes up and down. That's what the cycles are. And this is just about you being resilient and being the best person, the best professional that you can be.
Right.
I think we need to just go back to the basics in terms of what we do and how we do it, right? It's about providing a service and providing value to your consumer, your customer, your client. You treating your client just like you would want to be treated. I think that's key. And also being a student of the industry, a student of the game, right? That means that you're on top of not just doing the basics 12 hours plus 2 hours in terms of CE, but you're doing the thing, right? You're doing the watching Jimmy's podcast. You're doing the Audible books. You're doing the YouTubes. You're going out there networking with folks in the industry. You're elevating your license. You're doing all those things so you can become a better and more knowledgeable professional.
Right.
I think oftentimes we get caught up into like the noise, but we don't lock in and really focus on what we really need to focus on is being a better professional, right?
Right.
Oftentimes, like, you'll hear agents rushing when it's time to do CE. Oh my God, I got to do my CEs. I got to do this, got to do that. Mm-hmm. But you had 2 years to do that. And the CE, the 14 hours, that's the bare minimum.
Right.
Are you a bare minimum agent or you want to be above average? So you got to put in the work. You got to do the research. You got to do the work that you need to do for you to be truly a professional.
Right.
So that's the advice that I give folks. And I tell them, like, also, in terms of what you're doing, you have to remember that this is the largest transaction in a person's life.
Right.
Treat them as such. Don't treat people as a commodity. Treat them as people.
Right.
It's about building a relationship, understanding what you're doing and how you're doing it, and delivering excellent service. Most agents say, I want to get into the luxury market. Okay, look, they want to go door knock a $2 million listing, and they think that's how you get into a luxury market.
That's not how you get into it.
Absolutely not.
That's not.
You tighten up yourself, right? You become a master in your trade. You add the extra tools to your tool belt in order for you to provide that level of service. Imagine a plumber coming to fix your plumbing issue, but only having a wrench in their hand versus the one that has the wrench, the drill, they have the snake, they have all the things. They got the scope, camera, they have everything in order for them to provide the best service for you.
Right.
Like, luxury is not more so the property, is usually the amenities in the property, and it's also the service that you provide to your clients.
Right. Because at that price point, they already know what's happening. It's just making sure you accommodate it, right?
Absolutely. They want to make sure that they're working with someone that could match their level of service or their level of expectations, that type of thing.
I always feel like, too, in the luxury market, right, they made up their mind already. You just got to make sure you're a firm when you're there, right?
Absolutely.
You understand what the reason is, and you just got to just that's it. Just satisfy that reason for them and just keep it moving. That's why the luxury market is, I think when you're in that space, it's doable, but you really should know all your details before you climb into that market. It's not as easy. And don't get me wrong, some people are, they're in it because of relationships that they had, and that's okay. But the question is, are you chasing them or are you chasing yourself?
Well, you're definitely going to be chasing them because there's only about 10% of homes in the United States that's truly, truly like luxury homes. So you're actually chasing them. And the crazy part about what I see in terms of when agents say, I want to get to a luxury market,
Right.
I think it's more so about you just doing great in your business and you'll gradually get there, right? Okay. It's just one of those things. Like I've seen people that I've sold homes to 10 years ago in markets that were averaging a closed sale price of about like $200,000, $250,000, like in the Newark, Irvington, East Orange markets. Now those homes are worth $750,000, $800,000,
Crazy.
$900,000. So now that person or that property could technically be considered a luxury property, right? Because of the price.
The price point, right?
But the amenities are a little bit different, but the price point. So that's why I said you should always treat each client, each transaction as a luxury transaction, luxury market, simply because throughout time, we know real estate will appreciate, so will your clients.
Right.
So in order for you to prepare yourself for that, you need to be in that mindset of every client is a luxury client.
Right. So he's right about that, and I'll follow up with that. Same thing with in the world of me when it comes to having conversations with prospective buyers, right? I would be in a situation, and you've schooled me on this. It's like, yo, Jim, you got to talk to everybody the same way you would talk to. I mean, you talk to everybody the same way because everybody takes the same Garden State Parkway.
Absolutely.
You can't say, well, you talk to this person this way, you talk to that person that way. You got to have conversations where it's meaningful, and that template can never get lost because you're talking about what home ownership looks like to them.
Absolutely.
What those monthly payments look like to them.
Absolutely.
And if you have that as a bedrock, nothing else can go wrong because you can take on a $200,000 client or a $2 million client, right?
Absolutely.
That fundamentals will always be there and they'll follow through.
The foundation, man. It's about having a really strong foundation and be able to provide, again, excellent service and treat everyone as a luxury client. Like you just never know, right? Who that person is going to become,
Right.
who that person is, or who they know.
Right.
Right? You might be dealing with a person, a blue collar person that's making X amount of money per year, but their cousin, their mom, their dad is this next person that makes $10 million a year. You want that person to refer you either way.
Right.
And you want them to tell them about the great service that you provided. I see like major corporations, major real estate companies right now, they're chasing the pink elephant, which is what's the fastest way for us to get to the most wealthiest consumer, this, that, and the third. And again, just if you teach all of your agents great service, have great values, great morals, great ethics, guess what's going to happen? Eventually, they're going to attract that type of client.
Right.
But there's a lot more, like I said, there's a lot more population, or there's a greater populace of homes that are not in that multi-million-dollar market. So you would do a better job in teaching those agents so that they can transact more frequently versus you letting them go into chasing the pink elephant of, let me be a luxury agent, let me be a luxury agent.
Right.
It's just you teaching the agents how to be really good people and how to connect. Right.
Those relationships, right?
Connect
Building
with their
those relationships.
consumer.
Right.
And guess what? All that stuff would just happen. It would just happen by just natural attraction and just doing great business.
It's funny you said that, right? Because I had a conversation with Jason the other day, right? Look, Rocket Mortgage, those big box stores, they're coming for us, right? I get it.
Rocket, Redfin acquisition.
Right. They're coming for us. But you know what? That's not my clientele.
Mm-mm.
I'm not even worried about it. My clientele is the local lender that is not doing what I'm doing, which I know I'm doing very well at, in getting consumers that way, right?
Absolutely.
Direct to consumer, having conversation, having you on the Let's Talk About It, having other professionals come on the Let's Talk about their value, talk about their reason, talk about their why, talk about without others, they don't have what they need in life, you know?
Absolutely.
And that's the reason, that's their purpose. That's how they gain growth.
Absolutely.
In that purview.
Absolutely.
That's who I'm more concerned about, that person. I'm not concerned about the big box stores. And to your point, what you're saying, when you provide luxury, bro, if you have the equipment, you should not fear anything that's coming your way.
Never, ever.
Because you're going to monopolize if you stick to the basics, understanding your why to solving someone else's solutions. Like you said, that key is everything to that one person, whether it be a 1-bedroom co-op, whether it be a $2 million with 5 bedrooms. At the end of the day,
It's a home.
It's a home.
It's a home.
Shelter. You can't put a price on it
Absolutely.
at times.
Absolutely.
You just got to solve that solution.
Absolutely. I love the fact that you touched on the Redfin and Rocket Mortgage. I think that merger, that acquisition, however that played out, I think that's also a great play. And as real estate professionals, we should keep our eyes on things like that, because clearly that's a data move, right? That's
Right.
some way for them to aggregate the most data and also have the ability to drive consumers to
Correct.
the website, because Redfin was one of the #1 search websites
Right.
in the United States in terms of real estate. Then after that, Rocket, they're looking for that type of, they need that type of volume. They need those
it,
clicks.
right.
So that's a way that they can provide value and also be able to guide people towards their website. But the other side of it, that I love the fact that you said, that's about building relationships too.
Yeah.
Like even like, especially in the mortgage industry, you're talking about finance with people, which is a very uncomfortable conversation.
It's uncomfortable and sensitive.
A very uncomfortable and sensitive conversation. And when you're able to break through a lot of those barriers and actually sit down and show someone how they have started from this point, and then they can get to the key, like you said, the proverbial key to open the door of home ownership.
Right.
I think there's so much value in that. And I know a lot of companies are looking towards just automating that process, but there's so many nuances and intricacies of that conversation and where that person's mindset is, that is very important for the mortgage professional like yourself to build that relationship and have that conversation, and to be able to kind of break down any potential barriers or anything like that that person may have. Like an automated process can't do that.
No. You
So
need,
just
you,
one of
you need
those
the human
things.
element.
Yep.
So, Irv, you're running offices, right? I love that. I've watched you, behind the scenes, talk about what you're going to be doing and how you're going to be doing it. And you're going to be on the pyramid. You're going to be on the top, and others are going to aggregate from you. So you're doing that right now. I'd like to know, what are you telling agents today that is most important in navigating today's real estate climate?
Well, I like to tell them, don't be distracted, right?
That's key.
Specifically right now, it's the Great Migration, where there's a lot of real estate companies that's doing recruiting and things of that nature, because times are very difficult for most agents, right?
Right.
So you'll see recruiting happening, moving around, mergers and acquisitions. And I tell them, just keep your eye on the prize. Remember your why and focus on your why. And just to get a little bit more strategic in terms of that, when there's a lot of stuff that's happening, oftentimes our mind is fight or flight, right? It's either you're going to fight with the market or you're going to fly. And the fly part is where they tend to move, unearth themselves, remove themselves from the situation. I'm not saying that sometimes that needs to happen or that doesn't need to happen. Like, it's more so how it happens and who you go to. There's so many different brokerage business models. You have to find the right one that fits you, right? There's capping models, there's fee-based models, and there's full-service brokerages. You have to find the one that better suits you, your learning style, where you are in life, versus just going to the proverbial shiny penny.
Okay, yeah.
Most people go and they want to gravitate to the newest company with the newest technology. We all have the same technology.
Right.
It's the same technology. It's the same people, same
Right.
software developers. They're selling the
Same thing, right?
Same software.
They just changed the
licenses to
label,
different
right?
They're just white labeling it and doing this. It's the same. And the crazy part in terms of the splits and the commission in our industry is the race to 100%, right? Our agents want 100% of their money because they feel like, and I'm gonna tell you, they deserve a decent amount of that money, but 100% of the commission is almost impossible if you need to support a brokerage,
Right.
or if you have a brokerage supporting you.
Right.
Right. So you just got to make sure that whatever business model that you go to really is for you. For example, if you're
You
a
need to
newer
commingle
agent,
those relationships. You need to.
well, we don't use the word commingle, but
Well, I mean, yeah, for lending. Yeah,
for lending-
scratch it. No, I didn't mean it that way, but I meant it.
but in all actuality, what you need to do is just understand, like, if you're up for paying fees, that's fine. If your thing is to pay, you want 100% of your money, that's
Right.
fine. But just think about the support. Think about the support that you're providing to your clients and seeing where you're at, right?
Right.
Again, it's a race to 100%. It's like basically a margin of about 10 to 15% in order for a broker to survive,
Right.
Because the average agent, their commission split is about like 80 to 85% minus whatever transaction fees. So we all are basically banking on that 10 to 15%
Right.
difference, right? That variance. So as that shrinks, services shrink, brick and mortar shrinks, support shrinks, all that stuff. So if you're an agent and you need those things, then maybe chasing the shiny penny is not for you, right? Maybe not at this time. But if you're an agent that's experienced, you know what you're doing, you got your support, you got your service, you got your great lending partner,
Right.
then you're able to move around, and that business model at some point in time in your life might be for you. Or it might just be a pathway to ownership too. You might go into a business model where you could become an owner or something, or the revenue share,
Right.
or potentially just different.
So you could
business
do it
models.
anywhere.
Exactly.
You could do it anywhere as long as you're ambitious enough to know you want to get it.
Yeah, and knowledgeable enough and being a student of the game.
So to your point,
Yeah.
what does patient look like for some? How do you define that? Because everybody, like you're talking about the shiny penny. Some people want that shiny penny
Right
yesterday.
now.
Right now. I want to give it to me
now.
right now. I look at it. You got to be patient.
Trust the process.
Don't
rush the process.
Don't rush.
Because you're going to skip steps, and those steps are going to have learning points and experiences that you'll need in order for you to succeed in the future.
Right.
Like, regardless of what you do in life, I don't care if you're a person that washes cars or you're the exec of a company, you just need to make sure you trust that process, right? If you try to circumvent something, you just missed a lesson, and that lesson might be the lesson that makes or breaks you in the future.
And pain comes with growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if it's not painful, then why are you chasing it?
Yes, exactly. And then the other side of it is, like, you and I are gym fanatics. In order for us to build like the body that we want or the health that we want,
Right.
we have to put in the work and go through a process. There's no real way to circumvent that. You just have to put work in and be a student at the gym every single day.
Right.
Because if you're not, guess what? You're not going to get the results that you really want.
So, Irv, to that point, when you hear others thinking about coming to you or building that bridge that you can provide for them, and for some reason they have a mishap, they hear from other noises that he's not really who he said he is. How do you deal with that?
Well, I don't really listen to that. First and foremost, the first question I'm asking somebody that wants to come to me is like, why? Why are you leaving the place that you're at?
Right.
Like, what's the reason why? And sometimes I tell them, and most brokers are not going to give me the credit for it, but I tell them, I think you should stay where you're at. And this is just a personal issue or professional development issue. In order for you to get to that next level, it's not you switching brokerage. That's actually going to set you back. What you should do is you need to double down on this. You need to focus on this. Quiet down the noise on this. Add discipline into your regimen for you to get to this point. It's not switching brokerages, because at the end of the day, I know my job is to honestly recruit folks, but I don't want to unearth people from a great foundation just because it benefits me or my company. I want to make sure that it benefits everybody that's involved.
Right.
So sometimes, like, I'll give you a great example. I was in my East Brunswick office, and there was a gentleman that walked in, and he wanted to come in and interview with me and wanted to switch brokerages. He was at X brokerage, and before that he was at Y brokerage, and he just wanted to come to Z now, which is called a banker. And I just asked him, like, hey, like, you seem like a pretty sharp guy. You did commercial, you did residential. Like, what's going on? Why you're moving? Well, there was a scenario. There was a fair housing scenario that happened at his previous brokerage, not the one that he's at now, but the previous brokerage.
Right.
And he had a really close relationship with the owner. They were like really good friends, but because of that fair housing issue, he said that he had to go. And I was like, wow, okay. And now he's here. He's not feeling like he's part of the team, and he's just he was in between either coming to Coldwell Banker or leaving the industry in its entirety. When I hear that, I'm like, all right, so let's double down. Tell me about what happened here and why did you leave here and what was the relationship between you and those people.
Right.
So he told me X, Y, and Z. This person, when I just got into the industry, they supported me. This is the first person supported me. I loved them. We made money. We did all these things. But once this happened, I just left. I bailed. Him and I sat down for 2 hours and went through his value system and what was going on and how he felt and what was the most important thing to him, which was like friendships, principles, morals, and ethics. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, those align with me for sure. Like, if you want to come to Coldwell Banker, my doors are open. I'll make the numbers work and everything else. But I really think that you need to have a conversation with your friend that you haven't spoken to in 2 years. Right. After this situation happened. Right. And he was just like, wow. So he left, and he was just like, look, man, it was a great conversation. I really appreciate your honesty, your moral, your integrity, and your ethics. Like, we'll be in touch soon. I got an email two weeks later saying, Irv, this was like the best decision I've ever made by going back. So he left the brokerage that he went to, which was why he went back to X. And him and his partner had, like, it was a love fest, and they said, like, listen, like, this is the greatest thing that's happened in my life in a long time. Right. And I know now he's going to do a phenomenal job in real estate because now his values and his heart is into it. He had a part of him that left, and he needed to go back and fix that. And I told him, after you fix that.
You are the voice of reason. No, you are the voice of reason. And to my previous guest, Michelle Cooper, who was here, she talked about her understudy came from you. Again, this is, you're providing leadership. He's doing that without even making it a big deal. He's like, this is who I am.
Yeah, I'm always going to do the right thing. It's always going to be people over profit for me. The profit is going to come like just through the blessings and the way I've aligned with my higher power, my God. Like, that's going to happen. The most important thing is making sure that I provide value to the people that's around me, regardless of money. Like, money is a commodity, it comes and goes, but people are here for forever, right? We are all God's creation. And God said, first, you love thy brother, love thy sister.
Right. And the reason I'm doing this Let's Talk About It podcast, how much money I've poured into it, I will never go into those numbers for you. But you and I had that conversation. I was like, Irv, I got to start doing this. He's like, nah, B. No, just provide the value. Your currency will change.
Absolutely.
Your relationship will change. And I'm like, Irv, this number don't look good right now. It's in the red. He's like, Jim, keep doing what you're doing. The reps, they're getting there. You see it. The tension is there. The value is growing. And because of the principles that you've instilled in me, like we talked about earlier when you first hopped on, is the reason I'm looking at the things in the past. I'm like, nah, B, I'm good now. Like, everything is happening. Like what we talked about, how Absolutely. It's going to come in these stages. At times, I myself was not patient enough, of right? Course. Because you're feeding your family, you see these things, and you're like, oh man, when is it going to happen? When's it going to happen? But I'm not looking at it for money. I'm looking at it to build relationships and have fun doing what we're talking about when it comes to Let's Talk About It.
Absolutely. And also remember, Jeff Bezos was Amazon, right? He ran that company. It wasn't about profitability. It's about providing great service to his clientele, to the people. Right. And as you're providing that type of service to the folks, the money will come. Now he's one of the highest rated stocks in the index, and that company is destined for greatness, regardless of what happens with tariffs or anything else. Right. He just has that because he provides great customer service, right. And it's always been people first, people over profit. For a long time, he wasn't profitable. No. Right? But he knew the method to his madness was making sure he provided an excellent amount of service to his people.
He believed in what he believed in.
Absolutely. Values-based business.
So important. So, Irv, you're a leader, and you talk about the NAACP,
Mm-hmm.
and you're part of the YMCA. Walk me through that. What does that what does that coattail feel like when you empower those in your office and those outside your office and still carrying that mantle to these organizations?
So for the NAACP, in 2007, I was nominated their chairperson. Well, the YMCA was the Minority Achiever, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff like that I do. But I think those accolades are cool, but I think it's more so about the people that I'm able to impact on a daily basis, right? It's not about recognition for me. It's more so about impact. In this juncture of my life, the most important thing for me is being able to impact people as much as possible. That means utilizing my experience growing from X. Like I could literally said that I started from the bottom, right? And I've made it to the point I've made it to. And I want to be able to provide that experience for the folks that might still feel like they're at the bottom and let them know that there's a way for you to navigate through that.
Right.
It has a lot to do with mindset, has a lot to do with your network, and it's also the ability to take constructive feedback and implement the feedback and also become a student of whatever you're into, right?
Right.
Like whatever, irregardless of your industry, you need to become a student of that. And I want to make sure that I provide that. And these other organizations that I'm part of, now I'm down with ARIA too.
Yeah,
I'm
welcome.
I'm
Right,
with
right.
you and ARIA.
Right.
It's also being able to take the unique perspectives of different cultures and build this acumen of just business and also value-based acumen. I want to be able to understand perspectives, and I think that in school, when I was in Union County College, we took an international business class, and international business at that point in time, I really didn't understand it, but now I have a really good understanding of why that class is so important.
Right.
And my son, I tell him the same thing. I'm like, yo, international, his mom said it too. She was like, yo, international business is important too.
Right.
Simply because.
Especially with tariffs.
Not only that, but it's to be able to get an understanding of
Right.
cultures and how they do business, how they interact with each other. Like our country is an interwoven fabric of cultures and people, and doing business in this country, you have to be able to navigate the cultural nuances in between these different groups. So the fastest and the most sincere way to do that is to grow within organizations, understanding them, and do it altruistically and on a volunteer basis where I'm not being compensated for it, right?
Right.
It's me being able to understand and give back, because now I'm able to share my perspective too.
Right, because you're well-rounded. So to that point, Irv, looking back, what was that pivotal moment?
Pivotal moment for me, in terms of what though? Business or life?
Well, you're here because of steps that you've taken.
Yeah.
In life and business.
Yeah.
So what was that switch like? What made you say, I'm all in giving real estate and professional growth?
All right, so that's a great question, and I'm gonna say it has a lot to do with God, bro. It's God. It's nothing short of, and I hate to sound so theological, but no, I don't hate to sound like that, because that's how I want to sound. But it's God. It's nothing short of God. Like all the steps that I've taken, of course I've been derailed. I've had different things that's happened to me in life to pull me out of where I need to go or where I should go. And what's always allowing me back is just having that belief and faith into the higher power. Like without God, without family, without prayers, great foundation, like I wouldn't be here. And I really do feel like I'm here to better industries, better people, to make situations better and save lives, to improve lives and improve communities and do those type of things. Like there's nothing else on this planet I want to do but to do very, very good, not for me, but for mankind, right? Because that's what we should do as people.
Right.
If everyone would say like, I want to be better and do better and making sure that my brother and sister are better, the world would be such a better place.
Clearly.
But because we fall into that selfishness and selflessness, but due to like money, that's why I said don't focus on the money, focus on the people.
Right.
and the people that you're able to impact, I guarantee you, like you focus on people and making situations better, aligning yourselves with the right values, success is imminent, man. Blessings will come tenfold.
Well said. Speaking of blessings, next month is a big month for you, right? I won't go into the number, but it's a big month for you.
I'm old, man. I'm
Yeah.
old, baby. I'm old, but
the most important question I want to ask you is, how is it watching little man, you be a son to your father because family is important to you?
that's a great thing. When I see and I think back to when I was his age, and I would look at my dad and I would say, like, wow, like, damn, he's old. It's like, but no. Just the reflection, and it's one of those things was like, if I can pour every bit of wisdom that I have in my body into my son, I would do that right now. And I try my best to without like, because it's almost like watering a plant with a fire hydrant because of all the stuff that I have in my brain.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like I want to give him wisdom. I want to make sure that he's a good person, right? And I want to make sure, like, I know he's going to be successful, but my thing for him is just making sure that he's a great person. He's going to grow up to be a good human being, because at the end of the day, if I don't do anything and I could preach to the world 10 million times, but if my own son doesn't understand or doesn't have great values, I failed as a dad and as a person. Like my father and I, younger, we didn't have the best relationship. Like around A's age now, we didn't have the best relationship.
Right.
But I mean, now our relationship is almost like a brotherhood.
That's
right?
why I wanted to ask that question.
Right.
When you were talking about me and Pops, it's like, I wish I had a dad. I wish I had a dad, right? And to your point, and when you were telling me different things you had going on, and I'm like, Irv got the little man. It's like, yo, how is that watching? You be your son to your father, your son. Like, it's a bond.
I know.
It's a bond that not many of us in our community have.
No, it's not.
And so that extra call, that extra conversation, it means plenty, because when you don't have it anymore, that's when you know shit hit the fan.
Absolutely. There's been roles that's been presented to me, like where I would have to do an excessive amount of traveling. And I'm like, nah, because I need to be around for my little man, right? Like, 'cause that's the most important thing. Maurice Coleman, which is one of my mentors from Bank of America, one of the most successful black men in Wall Street, or men in Wall Street, we had a conversation on Saturday, going back and forth via text, and he's been my mentor since 2009. And he was just like, Irv, the most important thing that you can do is be present in your son's life, regardless of money. Be present in your son's life. Be there. Like, and he's showing me, instead of him showing me the accolades that I know that he has, right, which is the buildings, the commercial real estate, all that stuff, the success, the notoriety, the board positions, all that stuff. He's showing me a picture of his daughter, his son. They're doing this. They're in D1. They're in this program.
Right.
Irv, you should take this program for little men. Like, that's the kind of network I got. Like, that's the kind of circle I have. Those are the only people I want to surround myself with.
Right. Which makes sense, because it gives you reason. It's your why. It encompasses everything about life, because that's what life looks like to you.
Absolutely.
Love it, man. Love it.
Where my values align.
Love
and that's
it.
why you're around. Like, honestly, like, of course you and I gravitated towards each other because we just have that aura, right? The other side of it is how much of a family person you are too. That in itself, the fact that you love your family, you love your daughters, you're doing this, you're traveling the world for them, you're at their swim meets, you're at this place, you're taking them onto different universities and for the college tours, you're busting your behind for your family. And that's the most important thing. Like, right? Like, even when you were talking, when you were at the other company, before you were coming to this company, your biggest thing was like, yo, Herb, I need to be able to put food on the table for my family. College is coming soon.
Yeah.
You're like, college is coming soon. The joint is around the corner, and I need to do this for them.
Right.
Not because you wanted to drive a Bentley, not because you wanted a Rolls Royce, not because you wanted a Rollie, not because you wanted to go on vacation. It was like, no, I need to do this for my family. And a man that wants to do things for his loved ones and for the people that believe in him is my kind of man, and that's God's man too.
Oh man, appreciate it. Touching with this one, man. Very good. So Irv, our favorite spot, our go-to spot, we gotta shout him out. Moonshine.
Oh yeah, Vic.
Milburn.
Vic, what's up, baby?
Vic, we gotta call him out.
Vic, what's up, baby?
Yeah, if you're looking for elegance, you're looking for food, you're looking for nightlife, please tap into Moonshine. The owner is awesome. The staff is awesome.
Vic and
everything.
Vic and JoJo, those are my brothers right there.
Right,
like
right,
for
right.
sure.
Right. I would not have you on the show if we didn't mention Moonshine. So, shout out to Moonshine, and thank you, and keep on giving the services that you continue to provide, man.
Absolutely, man.
All right, well, Irv, thank you so. I mean, there's a wealth of conversation just happened in 35 minutes. There can be more.
Yeah, absolutely.
That said, he's gonna come back, of course, right?
Yeah.
So
this is my part dirt.
Yeah,
this is my part dirt.
Love it, man.
But I'm gonna cut you off.
Okay.
Special shout out to Jimmy for this platform and providing our community with the opportunity to have a voice, have a place on the internet, and also have the opportunity to grow and grow organically. He's doing a really great thing. I know he's very modest in what he does, but if you can support this brother, please support him. Please use him. Nothing is perfect. There's no perfect transaction, but if you're looking to do business with a values-based person, a person that's trying to do this for their family, this is the person to do it for sure. And I love this guy.
Thank you, man. Love you right back.
Nah, for sure.
Let's talk about it. Your favorite streaming platform, wherever it is. Again, type in Let's Talk About It by Jimmy Mortgage, and you're gonna see popular things like the conversation I had with Irv and others on this community. I appreciate you all. Have a good one. Hey listeners, are you looking to improve your home comfort and save on your energy bills? Let's talk about Seal Power. They've been awarded Energy Star Sustained Excellence Award, seen on Good Morning America, the New York Times, and World News. Seal Power is dedicated to keeping your home cozy while saving you money. Check out their website for tips and incentives and more at CIELPOWER.com. Stay comfortable and save with Seal Power, where comfort meets efficiency. Follow them on Instagram for updates and more, and let's talk about it as well. Thank you.